Again, it's impossible to not have a show without talking about N'Keal Harry. And we don't know what his injury is. I'd say, clavicle, AC separation, those would be the bad ones. I thought he concussed himself just based the way he was laying on the ground. He looked a little stiff.
Sure.
But he could have done that and hurt a shoulder too. He was pretty rocked getting up. But I don't know if we're ever going to see him in a Patriots uniform again. That might have been the last thing we see N'Keal Harry do. You hope he's not hurt, because you don't want to see anything bad. He was having a good camp. It's the second game in a row. You're okay. Last game he played well into the third quarter before he saw his first target. So whatever was going on with those stacked practices where he was playing well didn't translate to the game. And here you had that nice, that catch on that third down with Cam, early in the game. And then Mac throws and everybody knows what we're talking about, throws a freaking dime that I don't want to heap on the guy who's hurt and might have suffered a serious injury, but
sure,
it was just classic feet for hands Harry, and not having the body control down the field. Absolutely no reason to leave his feet there. He should just run right under that ball. It's right in his mitts, and that's a walk-in touchdown. And instead he muffs it, falls awkwardly, slams his shoulder and his head against the turf. He's hurt. He's out. Just a rough. I just don't know. As soon as he starts to build that positive momentum, something like this happens. So I don't know. We'll get more details maybe later tonight or tomorrow. But this was a rough one for him.
A microcosm of his career with the Patriots is what I wrote it, because when you watch the route, he runs a great route.
Runs a great route, gets clear, gets separation, which he never gets.
Right. He runs right by Zach McPherson. He's able to kind of stem it towards Zach McPherson, runs right by him, uses the arm bar to get his hands out of the way and clear his body, and explodes right by the DB. And you see that, and you're like, that's the player that we've seen out at practice some of the time, right? Is a guy that can go out there and actually explode and get over the top of the defense a little bit, and he does absolutely everything, and then he drops the pass, like you said, doesn't need to dive for it, right? Just run right underneath it and keep running, and you just walk right into the end zone. Instead, he makes it 10 times harder on himself, typical N'Keal Harry, drops the ball, lands on his shoulder, and now who knows how serious this injury is. Hopefully it's not serious, but who knows, right? And that's just the N'Keal Harry experience. The should have had it, almost had it, could have had it, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? That's just been N'Keal Harry his entire career. And I'm someone that continues to try to believe in the guy, and I've hyped him up a little bit in some of these training camp practices, and I've written that he's looked better, and I've written that he's looked more explosive and more confident and more decisive in his moves. But then he come out here in these games, and it just doesn't click for him. He just gets in his own way. He shoots himself in the foot, and here we are. And now he might be injured. And if that's a serious injury, if it's a separated shoulder or a fractured collarbone or something like that, I'm guessing, and I shouldn't be doing that. But let's say that it is. Who knows?
That's right? The season. That's it.
That could be it. It could be it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that. And I mean, again, where is he right now? He's battling for the fourth receiver slot. There's people who are theoretically pressing, that he could be competing with there. I think he would have been safe in that spot unless they worked out a trade. But this hurts him, and if he misses any time, if he's got to start,
luckily, it's just so tough because he finally seems like he's coming on. Then this afternoon, I finally got a hold of the coach's film from last week, and he goes out there last week and only gets one target for 4 yards, gets killed by everybody again for not showing up. And then you look at the tape and you see a guy that did get open a little bit and did create some separation and ran some good routes, but the ball just didn't really find him. And then in this game tonight, he finally gets the target from Mac Jones on the 19-yarder, and he gets another target from Mac later on, and you're just waiting and hoping that he's just going to make the play. And even if he dives and just makes the catch and gets back up and has a huge gain and doesn't, he might have been able to score if he stays on his feet, but who cares if he doesn't, right? And to a degree. And it just seems like N'Keal Harry always needs to go about it the hardest way possible. It could just never be easy for N'Keal.
Yeah, this is kind of mean, but it's a pretty good comment there. Pretty mean. So pour one out for Harry, pour one out for Nordine.